Hello and welcome to this exclusive interview for ETH Insights. And today I have with me a very special guest, Mr. Tarun Anand, who's the Chancellor at Universal AI University. Mr. Anand, welcome to ETH Insights.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Anand, from what I gather, you are someone whose journey started in sales. Having worked in sales, to having led a digital transformation across Thomson Reuters, to now being the Chancellor, how has that journey been?
It's been truly fantastic, rewarding. My first job was a door-to-door salesperson. So when you knock on the doors and get those doors slammed on your face, you've got to either find a way through the door or find another door. So that starts off your journey in becoming resilient, ability to take no's, and the ability to deal with failure. Then in my career at Thomson Reuters, had the phenomenal opportunity to work across pretty much every continent, lived in London, New York, Hong Kong, had the opportunity to work with the smartest minds in the world of finance and the exchange world and technology. And now bringing it all together was the opportunity to set up a world-class university in India. So I said, let's plunge into that direction, and that's why I'm here.
Right, interesting. What gaps in the Indian education system made you believe that this pivot was necessary?
So, I used to go to a lot of these conferences, which are, the who's who of the corporate world would come and the politicians, and they would say, there's one thing that we can solve every problem with, and that's education. And I'm like, why can't we do it? So when that challenge was posed to me at the World Economic Forum, I jumped into it and said, I've got to make a difference. You've got to get in there. The big differences was, everybody said industry is talking a different language, academia is talking a different language. And I felt that, why can't they come together? And so someone I always say, a cook who creates a meal should have eaten it. Similarly, in my case, since I came from industry and had the privilege of recruiting from the best business schools in India and the best universities out of, in the US and Europe, I said, okay, now I know what industry wants. I can go into the world of academia and create the talent that industry wants.
Right. Here at Universal AI University, you've beautifully crafted, an ecosystem that works at the intersection of AI and management. How do you work at that intersection?
So, the story of artificial intelligence went back into 2005 when I was in Chicago and I was dealing with the largest hedge funds in the world who would do billions of dollars of trading, taking data from Thomson Reuters, creating algorithms, and then transacting into the world's #1 exchanges. So that was the starting point where I said, how AI can be transformative if the data is great. And we said, how can we demonstrate? So the dream was that by the speed at which a student walks from his apartment to the classroom, we should be able to determine his grades or his future trajectory. Now that also happens only when you have the right data. So we get a lot of the data from the admissions cycle onwards. We have AI processes which literally look at the student, determine whether he's the right fit for our university. Then you have data which looks at all the engagements and experience that student happens throughout the life cycle of the student. So whether it's sports, whether it's extracurricular activities, whether it's competitions, everything we map. Then we have a lot of skill development training which happens. All of this is mapped. Then we look at their grades, their attendance, and eventually we look at where they are placed in the industry. And then we track their careers going forward into 5 years, 10 years, where have they reached? And then that data, of course, you keep adding more data, you get better results through artificial intelligence. So we felt that we need to be an AI university, not just because we're teaching AI. Of course, we're teaching AI. And in that case, we want to make sure that we are horizontal with AI. So we have bachelors of technology students who are actually creating these models and creating apps which are AI friendly. Then you have the power users, which is our business curriculum, whether it's our music sound students, whether it's our design students or liberal arts students, psychology students, what have you. everybody has got a power user of AI. So we felt that if you're going into industry is screaming for tools which will impact the productivity. So we need to have power users who know how to bring that productivity, and that's what we do at Universal AI.
Right, interesting. Now, Mr. Anand, you have studied, you have taught across various sectors. Do you think, in your opinion, what are the key areas where we struggle when it comes to education?
I think the gap is largely in terms of application. Gone are the classrooms. In the world of AI, the classrooms, we should be burying them. No, actually, they're going to be transformed into areas where you can actually experiment. You can have experiential learning, action learning, whatever you call it, where students actually work with their peers to solve problems. And to my mind, industry rewards problem solvers. If that's the case, then we need to have our universities reflect that and make sure that the students coming, they have analytical thinking, critical thinking skills, they are able to look at problems and find solutions for them. And that's how we've crafted our entire program, that whether you're a BTech student or an MBA student, you've got to solve a problem. If you can solve that problem, you're going to be rewarded by industry. And so that has been hard-coded into every program with credits assigned to it, that students learn how to solve problems.
Given that you have worked in the corporate leadership capacity extensively, are there any parallels you can draw between the two?
I think the corporate world demands speed of execution, which I find missing in the academic world. So that's one area I think academic institutions need to be very fast if they want to keep up with industry. The second area where I think the academic world needs to be is decisive. Again, that's one of the areas which industry is very decisive, whereas academia takes a long time to get to the table. So these are two areas. And the third area is the flexibility and adaptability. I see industries pivot when the markets change, but academia is very tough to do that. So these are the three areas which we are trying to do to make sure that we are in sync with industry. In fact, what we are doing is we've established industry inside our campus so that our students are dealing with solutions, problem-solving statements from industry, and there's a company which is running and the students participate in these projects so that they can try and be as close to industry as possible.
You stressed on academia being a rather robust framework to, when it comes to change. From an educator's point of view, how do the teachers of today adapt to sort of, bridge that AI and economy gap?
So we are, saying we are an AI first university. So you can't be a faculty if you do not have exposure or expertise to the world of AI. And that's very limited because AI is a recent phenomenon, especially if you talk of generative AI. So that's one of our requirements. Then we make sure that every faculty is completely upskilled by our internal teams on the latest techniques on how they can evolve and use AI to become a better teacher facilitator. Then we make sure that they are exposed to industry. So we go out there and give internships. We ask industry, can you have our faculty come to you for a period of time during the summer so that they are abreast with the latest world, because the world of technology is moving at such a frenetic pace that you need to be up to date. We are obviously focused on AI to such an extent that research, being a university, all our research that our faculty do in high-ranked journals are with a thematic of AI. So we're saying, look at the lens of the world through AI.
Right. Now, Mr. Anand, when you approach change, that change starts with the mindset. And to ground that mindset, one needs strong values. In your experience so far, what have been those key values which are often underestimated yet absolutely critical, in the entire life cycle of change?
I think the most important one is to have a self-understanding. The onus is on us, right? The knowledge that we are responsible for our actions, and we will that will determine where we go. So I think that to me is one of the foundational parts of the value systems that we propagate here. The second area is integrity, that when you're given a task, when nobody's looking at you, how are you going to perform, right? Because that's when the true leaders are formed. Of course, we are clearly, our raison d'etre or reason for existence is giving back to society. So we say we are going to get our students with a global outlook first to solve problems of society, not business, society, using AI. So our students have to spend time with not only industry but society. So we have what is called a smart project where they go into the villages, solve the problems. And now we are actually on the threshold of presenting to the Prime Minister's office a very amazing technology using artificial intelligence, using our students, how we can demonstrate and change the trajectory of 200 million people below the poverty line in villages and take them out using artificial intelligence. And this is all coming together with our faculty and our students making it happen.
Intriguing. Mr. Anand, looking ahead into the next decade, how do you anticipate the universal AI journey shaping up? How is that conversation lining up?
So we want to be a high impact university. We're not here for the numbers. I know there are universities which do a great job with 15, 20,000 students. We're not interested in that. We want small programs, high impact. And we'll go in areas where nobody wants to go. So for example, we were the first in the country to have a sound engineering program approved by AICTE and UGC, of course. So we said, how can we bring a new area, which is kind of, the world used to be in diplomas and so on. With the world of entertainment going ballistic, let us invest in something which is going to be the future. So that's where we want to position ourselves. Go for areas not treaded by most universities because they aren't numbers. I would like to create new systems of education where we can make an impact on. So there is obviously growth, but new, small, high impact schools which will be producing students with a global mindset. That is absolutely critical, and that comes to why we invited our Brahmastra, which is we are the first Indian university to get an American as its Vice Chancellor. That too from the world's leading university, MIT, which has been at the top for more than a decade. So that's what we're doing. We want to get a global mindset in our students so that they can solve societal problems using AI.
Right. Mr. Anand, this has been super insightful. It's been a conversation that's going to go on and add to the other important conversations in the world out there. Thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thank you so much.